Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night. How are you guys doing today? I'm sorry for starting so late. I got caught up with some family talk. We had this like thing we needed to go to, and then afterwards my parents and my sister wanted to get something to eat, and there was a lot of family drama to catch up on. So we were doing that, and then I got home and needed to set up some stuff. I also added some new redeems, which Unusual clearly found already. So that's great. But yeah, you guys can make me exercise now. Let's go. I kind of need to start exercising, so I guess it works out. What happened? No! We just started, man! Oh god, I'm gonna have to do them in sections. I don't know why I said 10. I was like, no, not that many people are gonna have enough points for that, you know? Proven me wrong. Okay, I was gonna do something. I did not prepare our lurker stars from last night, so no. What the hell? My spreadsheet app wants me to use AI. I don't want to use AI. I know how I want my spreadsheet to look. I did forget about you, I did. Okay, so let's see. For yesterday's stream, we had... $38 viewers total, and oh no, one on YouTube. 39. Yeah, I didn't prep my stars. I'm slacking today. I'm gonna get these gloves on first, clearly, and then I'll count out the paper strips for the stars that we need, and then we'll do all of the requests. Did I also mess this up? Please tell me I didn't. I did. Okay. I forgot to do a starting stream post, but it's fine. It's fine, we don't need it. It's fine. So yeah, how have y'all been up? What have y'all been up to? Doing anything new? Let's see. Okay, 13 chatters. I'm gonna rack up enough so that there's... oh, so it has to be a workout stream. Don't do that, please. I set a cooldown, so I think you have to wait like 25 minutes now. Probably should have added like a limit to it as well. I think we're just gonna do the chatters that were on my side of the stream from yesterday, and yeah, we're gonna do that because I didn't realize that the bot I was using wasn't going to count the chatters in the shared chat. So my stream summary says that there was like 30 chatters, but my list only has like 13 people. Yeah, 13 people. So next shared chat, I'll try to like keep track of everybody that chats on both sides. But I did not do that yesterday, so we're only going with the current list that I have. So I haven't had a chance to go through the VOD from yesterday. And okay, and just 26. No. 26 we need. But yeah, I'm so sorry for starting stream late. We will have a short, very short knitting stream today compared to the rest I've done, because I didn't prep my stars, and actually I think I'll do the stars off stream. After this, I'll just get the papers out. It's, 15. $20. 26. Okay. Let me do those exercises. How many do I have? 20 push-ups, 10 squats, and 10 sit-ups. Okay. I will be off camera doing this. I wonder if I can turn my mic all the way over here. I'll do the squats first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 squats. Do the sit-ups next. Oh god. 1. I have to take off my headset. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my god. Why am I already out of breath? Oh god. I'm just gonna do 5 push-ups right now, and then we'll take breaks and do the other 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We just did 5 for now. My arm's already shaking. I need to do more exercise. My sister has started like jogging and jump roping in her neighborhood. So she's been like getting some sun, and like we noticed because we were sitting next to each other earlier. It's like, have you been going out? Because she was a lot more tan than usual. She was like, no, I haven't been going out. And then later she was like, yeah, I've been exercising outside, but I haven't been going out. Like you were about to cry mid squat. No, I get out of breath so easily. It's so bad. So bad. I used to exercise a lot more. I used to really like playing sports as well. But I don't know what happened. At some point, I just stopped exercising almost completely. Last time we had Tony, me, Tuna, and Unusual as our EAPs. You have asthma. I had asthma as a kid, but I grew out of it. At least that's what they tell me. We were joined by Rin, Kev. He didn't tell me how he wanted his name spelled, so we're gonna use the whole username. That's KevYRS99. Maxrow. Aqua. I don't know if you guys can hear my mom in the background. She's doing some cleaning right now. I was like about to start stream earlier, and then she like just barged in and she was like, "You need a broom," and I was like, "Okay." So I had to stop real quick and broom. And I was like, "Hey, I kind of need to do something real quick." She was like, "What?" I was like, "Don't worry about it." Simon, Shadow Vanta. TK joined us. I realized the streamer bot chat isn't really working right now. I didn't notice it yesterday until like after stream, but I missed a lot of messages. I thought people just weren't chatting. I was like, oh, okay, it's a quiet day today. Agni, Mike joins us on YouTube. And Duke. I've been trying to like skim through the VOD to find a clippable moment or two, and I'll just like clip it on Twitch and then like export it to YouTube. Because even though I stream on both, I feel like I really neglect YouTube when it comes to like other stuff. So I've been trying to like upload some shorts every now and then. Some of them have kind of popped off. I'm not sure how the, I guess, YouTube algorithm works. I don't know. It's very strange. Like, at least with Twitch, I kind of understand when people follow, because they'll either chat or like they'll chat first and then follow, or they're a part of a raid, or it's like a friend of a friend of a friend. So like I understand like where they're coming from. But YouTube, I'll get like random subscribers and I have no idea where they're coming from because they've never interacted with like anything before. It's not easy on YouTube. It's not. Very confusing. Need to be consistent from the start with the same formula. Oh, I'm terrible at consistency. And I'm gonna be gone for like 3 weeks, so won't be posting anything during that time. I might log out of all of my social media accounts while I'm on vacation, just so that I can be a little more present with my family. But I'm also like addicted to the internet, so that might not last long. 3 all week, so I'll probably be done with the editing. Oh wow. I remember there's like one video that I like, the very first video I ever uploaded on YouTube. It took me like 3 years to get around to editing, and even then it took me like a couple days to get through it, and it's the shortest video ever. I think it's like a minute long. A minute or two. It's just like me dying over and over and over to the chefs in Little Nightmares. You enjoy editing? They're usually 8-minute song for yours. I think editing is really cool. I forget how all the tools work every time I do it because I take such long breaks between like one video I edit and another. So I have to relearn everything. And then by the time I learn it, I'm like, oh, I gotta do something else. And then the process just starts over. Oh my god. 20 minutes is a lot. It did play for like 3 hours, I think, that first time. Because we did bake the entire cake. I don't remember if we made our stars that stream. I think we did, while it was in the oven. The cake, not the stars. There's so many things I want to make. I did a lot. A lot of stars? Or I was just doing a lot of like other stuff. I'll change the music after we make these stars. I am the type of person that can listen to the same song on loop for like 5 hours and not notice it, but I know that it gets frustrating for some people, so I'll change it after I make the stars. I would be in the same area longer than necessary. I always do that. I get so scared. I'm just like, I don't want to leave because it finally feels safe. Or I don't look in the right direction at all. There was a moment yesterday where I was telling Duke that he needed to go somewhere, and then I went back to spot where like I last saw him and he wasn't there anymore. And I was just like looking around for him and I was like, where'd he go? And at one point in like the video you can kind of see him in the background in the exact spot where I told him to go, but I just did not notice. And I was like looking everywhere in the ground. I should have looked up. I'm a coward though. I'm a full coward. I am already kind of scared of playing today. One of my friends told me that I was like less than a fourth done with Resident Evil 7. You edit, you do it as if you can't have the viewer be bored for more than 10 seconds. That's fair. I do take a lot of pauses, and I do speak very slowly. I can't really watch my own videos at regular speed. I always watch them at like 2x speed. I feel like watching live streams, I don't mind how fast or slow people talk. When it comes to like watching like videos that I just like keep on in the background, sometimes I will get really frustrated if people speak slowly, so I'll just like turn up the speed. I want to know the information fast. And yet here I am taking forever to like get one thought across. Oh, I was muted. Yeah, my brother-in-law was on the phone. And I did let him know that I was like, hey dude, I'm streaming right now. And he was like, oh no, it's fine, it's fine. Like, he was fine with like y'all hearing his conversation, but it sounded kind of private, so I just went ahead and muted it. I was like, I don't know if you want all of this just out there. I know I'm not very popular, but still. I gotta move out, get my own space. Maybe after I graduate. I say as if that isn't gonna take me another year. But it's nice to think about. A nice little thought. Get my own space so that I can do little baking streams whenever I want and not have to carry in my entire PC tower case. Literally, that's how I felt. Like, he didn't talk about his like credit card information, but a lot of it I was just like, dude. was like, dude, your information, your privacy. Like, my sister, the gym rat, I was like telling her about how I tell you guys that she is a gym rat, and she was like, oh my god, you should show them this video of me doing these like assisted pull-ups. But it had her whole face, and like in the background you could see the exact gym that she works out at, and she even had like the name of the gym she goes to, and I was like, I can't show them that. She was like, it's fine. I was like, no dude, like your privacy. She was like, I don't care. I was just like, I know you don't care, but I don't want to do that to you, you know? I think like even her account, like her Instagram account is private, and that's where she usually posts that kind of stuff, but I'm just like, yeah, it's one thing to post it on your own private Instagram. I don't think you want it all over Twitch, you know? Have stuff set up where it's really easy to find your name, and if you really wanted to see your face, you could. Or just look up your Instagram with your username. I cut ties with a lot of my IRL accounts. So like, if you do know me personally, it is like, well, even then I have like a public account where I'm a full-on weeb and I just post like cosplay pics and like stuff from the conventions I've gone to. But even then, I have my face covered. And it's only on like my public Instagram that I made for my private Instagram that I made for friends and family. That's like the only spot where you can see my face. My family members, however, have they don't really care. So I guess like if somebody were to find their accounts, they would find pictures of me sprinkled across. But I personally do not really post pictures of my face. I'll post like outfit pics or some cosplay pictures, but again, covering my face. Even before I started streaming, I was just very kind of paranoid of like posting pictures of myself online. My dad would always be like, if you ever talk to anybody online, they're gonna be a PDF filed and they'll get you and you'll never see us again. My parents loved using the kidnapping tactic on me. I don't care if you know what I look like online, but I'm not gonna have like a face cam or show it on YouTube video. Yeah. It's fair. Man, yesterday I was thinking about how I've been reading Little Women during my knitting streams, but I haven't done many knitting streams, so we're only in chapter 6, and I didn't realize, like, I guess I knew how long the book was, but I didn't realize, like, how many streams it would take me to be able to finish it. And there's so many other books I want to read. We can finish Little Women, though. I really do like it. Name, on the other hand... That's fair. I know your name. I just don't want to call you that during my streams. It's one thing if you share it, it's another thing if I share it. A few of y'all may know this, but before I was Bellamy, I had a different online name where I did stream, but all of those videos are unlisted because I would play a lot of multiplayer games with my friends, and I was like, hey, can you call me, like, anything but my real name? Like, I don't care if you call me, like, dude, or you, or, like, dumb bitch, like, literally anything. I was like, just don't call me by my real name. And they were like, oh, okay, and then they kept calling me by my real name, so I never put those videos up. Could not do what? Call somebody by a nickname? If I call you by a name, then I'll always call you that. That's fair. And I did get that, which is why, like, even like the very first test stream I did, I didn't do it publicly. And I was like, yeah, I'm just not gonna post these. I would really only stream to my sister, honestly. I'd be like, hey, I'm playing Minecraft, do you want to see? And she was like, okay. And so I would play Minecraft and she would watch. My sister is my biggest supporter. I love her. Okay, I made our stars for our VIPs and our chatters from last time, but I'll do the lurkers off stream when I take my little break in a bit. With the exception of your trans friend, you remember when he changed his name? You and all your friends were struggling not to mess up. Got it eventually though. Let's go! I also have a trans friend, but he kept his nickname because he doesn't like his birth name. Like, he never liked it even before he realized he was trans, so he would always go by a different name. And then once he was like officially out to us, he was just like, yeah, it's the same name. So it was a lot easier to keep up with. But I do get like calling somebody by like the names you know them as. Like, there's some friends that I'll still refer to as their usernames even though I've known them for many years at this time, because I'm just like, I'm so used to your username that like I can't, I'll forget to use their real names. Okay, I'm gonna do 5 more push-ups and then we'll start knitting. One, 2, 3, 4. Shit. 5. I forgot to take my headset off and it started falling off like halfway through. Let's look up a playlist for you guys to listen to. Let's listen to some lo-fi. Please don't get copyrighted. No, actually, I don't want to risk it. We'll do some Stardew. So you're aware of my name from something I streamed on Discord? Oh no. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. I've slipped up a couple of times. I think I slipped up on my very first knitting stream. I was gonna do something. What was I gonna do? What was I gonna do before I pulled this up? Pulled up the music for you guys. Chat. Yeah, it's happened more than once at this point. I forgot I was using the needles. Forgot to switch them back last night. Never refer to yourself as your username unless you're being ironic or something. refer to myself by my name when I tell a lot of stories, especially if like it's a story including a conversation where my friends call me by my name and they're like making a specific point. So before I started streaming, I did practice by myself telling stories the same way I would like tell them on stream, but replacing my name with Bellamy. Even then, I have slipped up. I found out yesterday that a friend of mine thought I was Canadian. And he was just like, it's because you're so nice. I was like, I'm not Canadian. I was like, born and raised in the US, and my parents are Mexican. Nothing to do with Canada. I know I've like mentioned this a lot, but I did grow up in Georgia. Despite not having like a southern accent. I feel like I don't sound very southern. And I guess it's a mix of like the fact that a lot of people around me don't really have southern accents, and I learned a lot of English like before I went to school. I learned a lot of English by watching TV. I have two friends who you now know both of their arrow names, but you cannot call them because you're too used to saying their usernames. Paper and Zen. Oh, Zen was here during the Little Nightmares stream. The Little Nightmares 2. Just 3 more days for the Little Nightmares 3 showcase. I hope they announce the official release date during the showcase. That'd be pretty cool. Be pretty cash money. Ding. My friends, like, the other username I use a lot, my friends would all call me by that, but the second that they learned my real name, they all stopped using it, and I was so sad because I really liked that username. I was like, I prefer it over like my real name, you know? And they all were just like, nope, we're calling you by your name. And I was like, okay. There's also like a nickname that a lot of people use with my real name. It's like very common, but I specifically asked them, I was like, hey, can you guys not use this nickname? Because there was a point, like, in high school where this, like, I call myself a weeb, right? I am very openly, like, calling myself a weeb many times because I do love anime, I do love cosplay, I love manga, right? And I'm not, like, pretending to be Japanese, but I do like a lot of, like, media from Japan, right? So I'll call myself a weeb. But in high school, there was this guy who was very much a weeb. Kind of a gooner. Because he found out that I liked anime, and then one day he used the school laptops, and he was like, hey, Bellamy, look at this. And it was a hentai website. And I was like, oh my god, what the heck? Made me very uncomfortable. Anyways, he would also make a lot of like innuendos in regards to me, and a lot of them kind of went over my head like in the very beginning because I was like very sheltered as a kid, and it just wasn't the first thing I would think of. But like eventually I put, I don't know what else to call him. Anyways, he just made me feel very, very uncomfortable, and he was like the only person that would call me by that nickname. And I was like, can you guys please not call me by the nickname, because every time I hear that name I think of him, and I don't want to think of him. And they were all like, whatever, and they kept using the nickname, and after a couple of years, like, I got used to it without thinking of him. But yeah, I was like, ugh. ugh. You know? I do kind of hate that, like, now that word has a specific, like, connotation with, like, that kind of person. Because, like, before you would hear it, like, in a lot of, like, older shows where you had, like, the villain and his goons, and they'd just be, like, silly, evil villain accomplices, and they'd be like, yeah, where the goons at, you know? uh, I guess just adding the ER to it, like, just makes it so much worse. I have other stories of, like, people that have made me slightly uncomfortable. Like, okay, so I don't know if you guys have heard of the game that released recently called Date Everything, where, like, you have these, like, heart-shaped glasses and you can, like, use them on different items throughout the house or, like, outside of your home. And they'll turn into, like, handsome anime people or pretty anime girls or whatever, and they have, like, different personalities. And part of the reason it's become, like, so popular, like, even before release, is because it's an amazing showcase of, like, so many different voice actors. Like, there's so many voice actors within the game. It was such a random story. It was. This is how my brain works. Anyways, Date Everything, right? I think it's really cool in concept, and there's a lot of voice actors that I really like that participated in the game. But I watched somebody play a little of it the other day, and I forgot that, like, my honest reaction to people trying to flirt with me is just, like, it's just visceral rejection. Like, I don't like it. I heard one of the lines and I immediately, like, wanted to click off of the stream because I was like, ugh, gross. And it's not like the anime people are very attractive, they're very pretty or whatever. I just I don't like being flirted with, which is funny because most of the time I don't notice when, like, people are flirting with me, but, like, other times I'm just like, ugh, ugh, don't do that. Like, this one time I was meeting, like, I was trying to make a new friend, right? We had been talking and he was like, oh, we should play Minecraft together, and I was like, yeah, let's play Minecraft. Like, I love playing Minecraft. And he was just like, it'll be a date, and I was like, it's gonna be a friend to hang out, like, we're friends, right? We're trying to be friends. And he was like, Minecraft date, and I was like, no, it's not. And we ended up playing together for a while, and then at one point he started calling me by, like, a pet name. I don't remember what it was. It was like honey or babe or something, and my honest reaction to that was making a retching noise. I was like, ugh. And it was loud enough that he heard it, and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, I will be if you stop calling me that. And he kept doing it, and I just kept making that noise, but I was like, yeah, I think that's the end of our friendship, my guy. Because I was like, can we, like, be a little not flirty, please? But yeah, I do like drive-by compliments, like when people just kind of compliment you and that's kind of it. Like, I love giving people random compliments. I'll just be like, hey, I love your hair, and then I'll leave. And I've had it happen to me where, like, people have just come up to me and been like, oh, hey, like, your outfit's really nice, or you look really pretty, or I love your makeup, stuff like that. And they'll just leave. And that doesn't really make me feel uncomfortable, but yeah, some people go in a little too hard, and I'll try to give them a chance and be like, hey, I don't feel very comfortable right now. But then they keep pushing it, and I'm like, okay, that's enough for me. I'm good. I do love, like, play flirting with some of my friends, but just, like, the ones I'm very close with. I'll pretend to get very jealous or something. Like, the other day I was at a restaurant with one of my closest friends, and another one of his friends was like calling him, and he ignored the first call, but the second time I was like, oh, you're good, like just answer it. But then while he was on the phone call, I was like, tell him, because the other friend is almost like his little brother. I was just like, tell him that he gets to have you all the time and I don't, and this is my time, and he's digging into my time with you, so he needs to hang up. And afterwards my friend was just like, wait, were you really jealous? And I was like, no, I don't care, like, you're good. But I will do that sometimes. I will clarify though. I'm just like, hey, I'm not actually flirting with you. I'm not actually jealous. Like, people have lives, you know? Just because I'm busy or something doesn't mean I'm gonna make it your problem. I'm definitely the type of friend that, like, if I see a message, I'll respond to it. But if I feel like I don't have the time to, like, answer immediately, I won't, like, even open it. Because if I open it and the notification is gone and I don't answer in that exact moment, I will forget to reply. And then I'll be like, oh my god, like, this friend hasn't replied to me in a few hours. I wonder what's going on. And then I'll check it and I see that I never replied and I was the one being a bad friend. But I have had some friends that are like, you didn't answer within 3 minutes, like, do you hate me? And I'm like, I don't hate you, like, I was at work, or I was at school, I was doing, like, I was busy. I don't hate you. I forgot to set a timer again today. I'll do 2 rows. 1 row after this, and then I'll take a little break. Okay, so longish story. I had this friend I'll call Sona. I met Sona on the Xbox app from, like, a Minecraft group thing. So we played, I overheard her phone because you were okay, and it was fun, and we stopped talking for a while, and like a year later you open Minecraft and see this random username online, and I was like, who the heck is this? So I joined the world and I see Sona's username and some random guy who's the owner of the world, and you end up running around being annoying, and I asked if I could, did he reach the character limit? Have operator powers, and Sona ended up giving it to you? And you ended up destroying their world and left? And you added Sona again on Discord? Why did you destroy it? Oh, there's more. I'm trying to hear you out on what was going on with this. Please tell me that they had, like, a backup of the world saved before you destroyed everything. Sip of water. You ended up finding out that the guy she was with was a friend of hers, and he was, like, hard flirting with her in Minecraft. And she was getting weirded out, and apparently he forced their beds together? Okay, I guess it worked out that you destroyed it. I would have been like, oh no, the world is ruined. I guess we can't start over. That's the end of the 2-week Minecraft phase. Oh my god, it's crazy. That's so crazy. I think, okay, this wasn't like the worst experience I've had with somebody, but I was in this like kind of sketch Discord place for a while, and I remember at one point there was like somebody in the general VC. Wait, okay, the best part, you forgot Sona told you he got really pissed when he left. He started calling you gay and stupid, and after that you didn't think they spoke ever again. Oh my god. I feel like if she defended you at any point during that, he definitely wouldn't have like tried speaking to her again. Oh my god. I guess you kind of saved Sona by being annoying. That's crazy. Oh yeah. But the story I was telling. One time in like the general chat, there was this person that was like asking help because you know how Spotify will like display the songs that you're listening to on Discord? They're like, I'm listening to Spotify, but it's not working, blah blah blah. So I messaged them to be like, hey, I kind of know how this works, so like let me help you out. And the only reason I sent a message first was because they had a picture of like a female singer. I think it was like Camila Cabello, but it was something like that. So I messaged them thinking that they were a girl, and then later I found out it was a guy, and I was like, okay, it doesn't really matter, right? And I would like join that Discord like voice chat pretty often, and I would just like sit there while I was doing homework and use like the people in the chat as like background sound, right? And at one point this person, they were like, oh hey, I want to learn Spanish, can you teach me Spanish? And I was like, I mean, I guess I can try, but I was also like a senior in high school and I was taking 6 AP classes that year, and this was around the time that I was gonna have my AP exams, and I also had like a family like trip, like a bunch of family members were coming to Georgia to spend time with us around the same time, and I kind of let them know this. I was just like, hey, like I'll send you like some Spanish vocab so that you can like practice it and whatnot. But I'm gonna be busy like coming up, and I don't have a lot of time to do this. And I expressed that multiple times, and they'd like constantly send me messages and be like, why haven't you sent me like more Spanish words to learn, or like you'll join voice chat but you won't talk to me. And it was just like a lot of stuff like that where they were like, oh, you have enough time for this person but you don't have enough time for me. And I was like, if you had joined the voice chat you would have noticed that I had been like muted, not on Discord but on my own mic. I'd been muted for like the past hour because I was trying to lock in and study, right? And it got to the point where they were like, oh, just block me, I don't care. So I blocked them, and then like a week later in the Discord they started sending all of these messages like in all caps, like tagging the moderators and stuff, and they were just like, tell Bellamy to unblock me, tell her to unblock me, tell her to unblock me, like tell her I said I'm sorry and tell her to unblock me. And bro sent so many messages and I couldn't see them because I had blocked him. And then somebody like that I was like kind of closer to in the Discord server, they like started sending me screenshots of what he was saying in chat, and they were like, dude, like dude is freaking out. He was just like, I don't think you should unblock him, but this is what's going on. So I ended up unblocking him, and I was like, I'm kind of pissed off right now. Like, I'm unblocking you just so that you'll stop sending all of these messages in the server. I was like, but I'm not going to talk to you for a few hours after this until I calm down. And he was like, okay. And because at that moment I like wanted to cuss him out, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that because that's rude and mean, so I'm not gonna do that. But I did unblock him, and then afterwards I was just like, look, you are too grown to not realize that people have boundaries. And like, I do hope, I was just like, something is going on, I guess, in your life or something. I really do hope you like get the help that you need, but I am not the person that can help you right now. And I was like, I don't think, I was like, I feel like you want something more than just friendship, and friendship is the only thing I can really offer at this time. And I understand if like you don't want to be friends, that's fine, just like let me know and we can just stop talking to each other. And he was like, okay. and we never spoke again after that. But yeah, it was crazy. And afterwards, some of the mods like came to check in on me, and they were like, hey, like, we were told about this situation that's going on, and I was like, I think I resolved it, but thank you. I was like, it was low-key very embarrassing. And surprisingly, not the worst interaction I've had. I do feel like, as a society, we do feel like guys, men, and their mental health. Like, I feel like for women, it's easier to be vulnerable and admit that you have weaknesses. I don't know. For me, I always saw like being vulnerable as a sign of strength, because one of the most emotional people I've ever met is my dad. And to me, he's like the strongest person I know, like both physically and like mentally, right? And I was just like, he was the first person I really saw like cry from grief, because his mom died when I was very young, my grandma, right? So I saw him cry, and like I still remember that, and he was like the first person I ever saw cry like that, and I was like, this is the strongest person I have ever met, and he's the first person I've ever seen cry. So you have to be strong in order to like allow yourself to be vulnerable. And I kind of like always kept that in mind, and I was like, I'm not strong enough. I gotta toughen up before I can be emotional, right? That was also a very unhealthy perspective. But to me, I was like, strong people cry. Like, that is a thing. You crying doesn't make you any weaker, because you're already strong. And I don't know, I just feel like a lot of people don't feel the same way, and they're like, like crying is for weak bitches or whatever. It's like, no, it's not. Like, everyone deserves a good cry now and then. Like, life gets tough, man. I feel better after I've cried for a while. It's better to like allow yourself versus like letting everything bottle up, and then you have no control over when you explode, basically. This time you bawled your eyes out was when you were a kid and your 3DS blew up? Wait, like, did it blow up because of the battery or something? Like it literally exploded? Or was it like a virus and then you just couldn't use it anymore? It overheated in the car. No, I'd cry for that too. I cried a bit recently while I was watching a movie. It was Sinners. It was really good. It was a really good movie. I will admit, I am the type of person that will cry at a movie theater. I guess like really, really, really cried, like to the point where it was like kind of hard to breathe, was recently, when I had to put my dog down, and then when my grandma died. I feel like those are understandable reasons to cry, you know? I didn't really cry, just get sad. That makes sense. That's true. It does make sense. A lot of my friends are kind of the same way, where they're like, even if I feel like I want to cry, they're like, I can't really cry. Like, it's just hard to cry. Me? I'll cry at the, like, drop of a hat. It's kind of like thinking of a thing. I don't know, I guess for me, like, crying isn't really something that I can control. It's like breathing sometimes, where I just get like very overwhelmed by a thought of something, and then my eyes just start welling up. I'm just like, oh no, I'm gonna cry. Like the Hamilton musical, I absolutely adore it. I feel like this isn't a spoiler warning, because Hamilton died like 400 years ago, but he dies at the end of the musical, right? So it's like this whole like story of him and him trying to like make a story for himself and whatever. And at the very end he dies, and like he himself can't tell his own story, and he's just like, well, I guess it was kind of pointless, but at the end of the day, like, I just want my wife to be okay. And Eliza goes on and tells his story, and that like whole like emotional like change within him and the story gets me like every time. I really want to say it because it's just sad, but like I get more depressed than crying when it's one of those days. I feel like for me, depression, like when I do feel depressed, it's more of a feeling of emptiness than sadness. And I remember like in the beginning, I was just like, I'm not depressed because I don't feel sad. I just feel absolutely nothing. No joy, no sadness. This isn't depression. And then I found out later, years later, that that is like a big part of depression. Yeah, it's just like nothing matters. And having that whole nothing matters at the end of the day thought can help out for like people who have anxiety and are like very overwhelmed by everything and worrying about everything. But for somebody with like depression, it can be like, okay, well, if nothing matters, then I'm just not going to try anymore. And that's kind of where like you see the people who like stop going out and they're like legitimately bed rotting. They stop taking care of themselves, their hygiene, stop eating, stuff like that. And people will be like, oh, well, what do you mean you can't like brush your teeth? It's like, babe, they want to not be in this world. Like, not brushing your hair or something isn't something that's very like at the top of, it's not a priority, you know, for somebody going through depression. And even though there's like so much talk about mental health and whatnot, like people are just like, yes, these are mental conditions that exist, but like, people still don't really understand the nuances of it, and that does suck. And it's hard, you know, because no matter how much you like tell a person like, hey, like we're here for you, for somebody with depression, like a lot of those affirmations don't really matter, you know, because you believe what your brain tells you to believe. I know when I was like really going through it, I had this very strong belief that nobody in my family cared about me, and they had never said anything in that kind of respect, but I still held that strong belief. And it wasn't like until years later that I had kind of overcome it, where like I told my sister about it. She was like, you are my whole life. She was like, I don't know what I would do without you. And I guess it wasn't until that moment that like it finally clicked for me that my family did care about me. But for somebody with depression, like even if you tell them when they are going through that moment, like it's hard for your mind to wrap around it, right? And it's a whole mix of things. It's like the state of the world, the whole feeling like you serve a purpose, wanting to serve a purpose, brain chemicals not being at the levels that they're supposed to, like trauma that people go through. Like everybody goes through something, you know. Just it sucks. It sucks. And I do feel like therapy has helped me, but not everybody wants to try it, and that's their own prerogative, right? How did we even get to this topic? Crying? But yeah, I don't know. Hot take, I feel like people should give therapy a try, but if you don't want to, that's cool too. But people do care about you, and you matter. And I believe in you. If you guys made it out of the bed today, that's an accomplishment. Just explaining stuff that goes through your mind. It's just how life is. That's just how life is, I suppose. I guess. It sucks if that is just how life is. One thing that I would do when I was like younger and really going through it was I would choose stupid reasons to stay alive. That's what I would call them. And one of those stupid reasons was like pre-buying my anime conventions a year, like anime convention tickets a year in advance, because I'd be like, I can't off myself because I have to go to this convention because I already paid for it. And I feel like if you're really going through it, finding a stupid reason to stay alive is better than nothing. Maybe that reason is your favorite restaurant might have like a new item coming that you don't know about, or a new game is being released, or your favorite actor is going to be in a new movie, or you're working on a project and you want to finish it. But always come up with a new stupid reason before your first stupid reason is finished, I guess. Welcome in, Rin. We're talking about depression. I can't ditch Taco Bell. I haven't gone to Taco Bell since like 2010. It's been so long. I don't really even have anything against it. Well, actually, no. I don't think I ever really liked their food to begin with, so I just haven't gone back. I'm lame and old. I am old. I am a granny. I got called an anime veteran the other day, and I was just like, just call me old instead. I have nothing in my wallet. Wait. Okay, I'm gonna finish this, and then I'll show you guys something that I do have in my wallet, and then I'll do 5 more push-ups. Oh, perfect timing. We got ads. Okay, well, I'll do... What should I do? I'll do the 5 push-ups while y'all are in ads. And I hope y'all believe me. I messed up. Dropped a stitch. You have turbo, so no ads. Nice. I'm thinking about getting turbo because I do watch a lot of streamers, and I feel like that might help out. Okay. Let me try to fix this real quick. I messed up. Okay, let's move you guys back. How far do I need to go? To here. Okay. And then I'll just pick these up. Oh, don't fall. This is one thing I prefer about crochet over knitting. Okay, I guess like one of the pros of knitting is that if one of your stitches dropped, it's pretty easy to just like pick it up and go through, but it's also really noticeable if you drop one. Versus with crochet, it's a lot easier to hide sometimes with some patterns, because some patterns will require you to like, no, don't fall. Some patterns will require you to have a very specific number of stitches or else it won't work out at all. We'll place you back on here. Okay. Did it work? Did you guys hear it? I was so focused. Oh my god. I was so focused on fixing this. Okay. Well, we'll do 5 more push-ups. And actually, let me mark that I've done them. Bella's enemy. telling my doctor about you. I'm gonna be like, there's somebody that's constantly terrifying me. Taking off my headset so it doesn't matter if you do anymore. Applause redeems. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh, my shoulder. 4, 5. Bella stream. Hello, Mew. I started streaming very late today. Over an hour late. Hello, Mew. Are we still in ads? Or did they finish already? I think they finished. Anyways, I got called an anime veteran earlier. Not today, but the other day. And I was like, please just call me old instead, because in the lurk have something to do. No worries. Thank you for the lurk. I appreciate it. And I hope your thing goes well. Oh, my shoulder hurts. I haven't exercised in so long. But I need to exercise more. Welcome back, welcome back. Oh wait, so you didn't hear what I just said. Okay. I got called an anime veteran because I posted this like picture of like anime I have watched recently. Because there's this like little trend going on Twitter. And I think Agni called me an anime veteran, right? And I was like, just call me old, just call me old. I am old and everything hurts. My knees have cracked since I was 8. Like, I have an old soul and an old body. And apparently people think I'm Canadian, I guess. It's funny. It's funny learning things that people think about you. Are there like any specific things that you guys think about me? I'll confirm or deny if it's true. Like, TK thinks I'm a baker. And I bake, but I wouldn't call myself a baker. Short and old. Short, yes. No, wait, short and blind. Short, yes. Blind, not so much. I like to think you're 40 or something. Not you adding like more than 15 years to my age. I was gonna say 20, but I'm not quite there yet. Oh no, I'm not quite that young anymore. Mid to late 20s? Around there. It's very strange because I feel like I look my age now. When I feel like I've told this story many times, but when I first worked in painting, I was about 19, 20 years old, right? And we would work at like apartments most of the time, and sometimes there'd be people within the apartments and we'd just like do a touch-up or whatever. And more than once I had people offer me snacks or tell me to take a break, or they'd be like, oh sweetie, don't do that, like here, like I'll help you with it. And I was like, ma'am, I'm doing my job. And they'd be like, oh, when are you graduating high school, sweetie? And I'd be like, I finished high school many years ago. And I felt like I looked my age now, but the other day somebody asked me how old I was, and they were like, I was like, I'm this age, and they were like, I thought you were 18. I was like, I'm not 18. I'm not. I'm younger than your oldest brother. Doña Bella. I am a doña. Not really, because I live with my parents. I don't have my own place, but I'm getting there eventually. Señorita Vela. And I felt like I looked my age because I'm not gonna confirm my age on stream, not right now. But I felt like I looked my age because this one time I was like at a grocery store or something, and this lady goes up to her kid, and she was just like, "Dile a la señora esto," and I had always been called joven. Like people would always be like, "Oh, dile a la joven esto," and she was like señora, and I was like, I look old as hell now. And I wore it with pride, but I guess sometimes people still mistake my age. I feel like I have very chubby cheeks, and that's what confuses people. But I was just like, damn, I don't look that young. Like these eye bags and these smile lines did not happen in 10 years or 15, 18 years. Like I've worked on these. I wear my wrinkles with pride. I don't think there's anything wrong with like wrinkles or signs of aging. It shows you've lived a full life, you know? And like going back to like the whole depression talk, like I didn't think I'd make it to this age, so I'm very happy I did, and I'm very happy that I have the signs to show it, you know? I feel like you sound your age now. I feel like I sound my age, but then sometimes I'll answer a phone and people will be like, "Oh, is your parent at home?" And I'm like, I mean, they are, but I handle my own stuff. Me and my mom have very similar voices. I remember one time when I was like 12, I answered the phone and they thought that they were speaking to my mom, and I was just like, "No, I'm her 12-year-old daughter. Give me a second. I'll pass the phone to her." And my mom sounds a lot like her sisters. Sometimes when we're watching like old family videos, we'll be like, "Wait, who was talking there? Was it like my mom or my aunt or like my other aunt?" I do feel like my voice has gotten slightly lower. Just a wee bit. When you were 15, people would think that you were 19 or 20. I did think you were older just by your voice, I'm not gonna lie. But I should have also known not to think that way, because where was I going with this? Oh, because I have met like a lot of my younger cousins have like very deep voices, and they're a lot younger, and I'm just like, you guys are little itty bitty babies. Gotta be protected. No, I dropped another stitch. Okay, we'll move you back. And was it just one? Two, 4, 5. 2, 4, 5, yeah. Go right there. What other things have I been confused as? Before you confirmed anything, I probably would have guessed that you were around like 18, 19. because you definitely, like, the way you speak, not like your voice, but like the phrases and stuff you use very much give younger Gen Z, some Gen Alpha. But a lot of my friends also speak the same way, and they're like they're pushing 30s, right? So there was that like small doubt I did have. It turns out my friends are just immature as hell, but that's fine. A few of them are still banned. I'm trying to figure out when would be a good time to unban them. Because, when I first started streaming, I didn't tell any of my friends about it, but it got to a point where I was, like, streaming a lot, and they'd ask me to hang out, and I was like, I already have something planned, and they'd be like, what is it? And I was like, a nap! But I was streaming, so I was like, I feel like I have to tell them so that they can know that I'm not canceling just because I have stream, you know? But I did tell them, and I was like, please don't look up my channel because I want to, like, wait. I was like, I'll tell you guys once I'm ready. I'll share it with you guys at that point. And then, like, 2 hours later, I saw that they had followed me, so I blocked both of them. And I told myself that I'd probably unblock them once I reached 100 followers. But maybe I'll wait a little longer. 150? 200? Maybe end of the year? Who knows? Uh-oh. My camera's running low on battery. Give me 1 second to connect that. It's not really slaying. You just... I don't know how to explain it. I'm trying to think of something else that happened, because I had this friend that I met online through a video game, and we were in the same, like, little guild, and we ended up, like, becoming friends on Discord. And I wasn't going to ask their age or anything. I was like, oh, anonymity or whatever. But they said a phrase. I forgot what phrase it was. It was a very specific phrase that they used. And as soon as they used it, I was like, oh my god, I'm speaking to a child. And after that, I was kind of like, if you don't mind me asking, are you a minor? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm, like, I mean, you can hit me up if you need help with homework or anything, but deuces. Oh no. On one hand, I do feel like it's very important for younger people to have friends that are older so that they understand what a healthy relationship looks like. Because, like, even as a kid, I had a lot of people that I would consider, like, mentors and friends, right? And I learned what a safe, healthy relationship between, like, a child and, like, an adult could look like, you know? There's somebody that can teach you lots of lessons, help you out with stuff. Because even though, like, as kids, you'll reach an age where you're like, oh, I'm grown, I understand what I'm doing. And it's just like, there's so many things that as a kid you don't really understand or you don't really have the foresight for. So it helps out when you have somebody to, like, reach out for help with. But with, like, the online media, like, being what it is rough to navigate through. With a lot of my younger cousins, I try to, like, tell them stuff like that, where it's just like, hey, here are some signs to look out for, like, if you ever need help, I'll be there, you know? And for a while, I did have like a little family Minecraft server they could all play in, because I was like, I'd rather they be in here with like me, because I had also invited a lot of like my own friends through that, and I was like, hey guys, like these are my younger cousins, so please be nice to them. And yeah, so we had that for a while, but the 2-week Minecraft phase ended and they stopped playing in it. I was definitely the type of like youngin' that, because oh my god, I could just age drop. Oh my god, please don't. Not in my stream. I was the type of kid that would age drop though. Like, I was in this random MMO when I was a kid, and I was just like, yeah, I'm 13 years old. I'm so old. That's what makes it better? No, it doesn't. You can age drop once you have a better keyboard. Actually, no, let me take that back. Don't do it. Please don't. It's like once you can type makes. But no, don't do that. I keep forgetting to set a timer. I feel like when I was younger, everybody I met was like 20 plus. And now that I'm 20 plus, I meet a lot of like younger people. I'm just like, what happened? Where are all the older people? I want to make friends that like understand the struggle of taxes and having to buy gas every week. Oh god. No, I didn't mean to pin it. No, I didn't mean to pin it. How do I take it off? I was trying to delete it. How do I delete your messages? How do I delete this? I don't even know how I deleted the first one. I think I did. But the other one, it's fine. It's fine. It is a mess. Safe work, Sasuke. Okay, all of your messages are gone for now. Jesus Christ. I should just have that like saved onto a clipboard or something. I feel like my age is also shown when I talk about like different posts, because I make so many references to like different posts. Like the whole Safer Work Sasuke thing is a reference to a Tumblr post that I saw years ago. And I don't know if people still know about it. Or like the post that's like, one day everything's gonna be okay and I'm gonna make a cherry pie. And then OP did come back and they did make the cherry pie. And I think about that a lot. I don't know how to make pie though. I'd probably make like cookies or something. I haven't made chocolate chip cookies in years. I think the last time I did it was at like a sleepover thing. He has so many weapons. I have never watched Naruto. It's not that like I have anything against it, it's just so long. It's so many episodes. My attention span is shot. Let me get closer to the camera. There's a flute in this song. Pan flute, maybe? You watched like 2 seasons and then dropped it. Don't remember anything. I started watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I think, when I was like in high school. And I specifically watched it to study for my AP biology exam, and it did work because they talk about like all of the components that make up a human, and they mention it many times in every episode. And there was like a question on the exam where like it did talk about like all of the components and which ones are trace amounts. And I was able to answer the question because of Full Metal Alchemist, but I didn't finish it because I was like studying for my other classes and whatnot, and I was like, oh, I'll get back to it later, and then I never got back to it, and yeah, I haven't finished it. There's so many shows that I've started and never finished, like Bakemonogatari I didn't finish because I think the character was like about to die, and I was like, that's very scary, and then I dropped it. What other one? There's so many that I've like started and never finished. I do have a spreadsheet for most of like the movies and shows I've like watched since 2020. It started as like an anime only list, but then I started watching other stuff with friends and we kept adding it to the list. So now it's just like this amalgamation of just pretty much everything I've watched within the last few years. Netflix released a new movie yesterday called like K-pop Demon Hunters, and I really want to watch it, but I haven't had the chance to because I was like at work all day and then stream, and I was really tired. So I spoke with some friends, did some stuff. I was supposed to do homework. I'll do homework after Resident Evil, maybe. What sounds dumb? The movie K-pop Demon Hunters? Look. The premise is really interesting, and the animation I've seen so far is really, really cool. And I was like kind of keeping up with it before it was released, but because of that, now that it is released, I keep getting spoiler posts on Twitter of it, and I want to ignore them, but the art is so pretty, so I take like a little peek at it, but I'm just like, no, I'm learning too much about the movie before I've even watched it. The same thing happened with Sinners, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to watch it, but I kept getting posts about Sinners, and I kept being like, wait, this looks really cool, and I kept reading into it, and yeah, man, but it was a really good movie. Yeah, let's watch K-pop Demon Hunters. I will say that. What if I make a community night and the only thing we ever do is watch K-pop Demon Hunters? It wouldn't be the first one. I think I have had another movie night. Tony, I'm not watching that. I'm not by myself. 28 years later. Isn't there another movie called like 28 Days Later? 28 something. Are they like in the same series? It was Logan? Oh, Logan! Yeah. We did watch Logan. It was really good. I cried. 28 days later, 20 weeks later, 28 years later. They skip months? I guess it would have been like saying a toddler is 28 months old. Could just be like 2 years and 2 months later. They're releasing another one? That's crazy. I'm definitely not the type of person to watch scary movies by myself. Watch Bullet Train. It was a good movie. Oh, yeah. Bullet Train was good. And that made me think of Train to Busan. Train to Busan is also really good. It's a Korean drama. Oh my god. It's so good. So good. Wish Bad Bunny had a longer role. Bad Bunny was in that movie? In Bullet Train? I'm not gonna lie, I'm not good with faces. So sometimes if people like change up their makeup or like their outfits, I won't recognize them. My friend swears that one time in high school, he tapped on my shoulder and he swears that I looked him in the face and turned around and kept walking. But I don't remember that. I remember turning around, being like, I wonder who tapped me, not seeing anybody I recognized, and being like, okay, must have been the wind. But he's just like, nah, dude, I was wearing makeup and you pretended you didn't know who I was. And I was like, I literally did not see you, man. Literally did not. So I guess I'm just very bad with faces. There's like some actors that like, every time I see them, I don't recognize them. But I'll hear the voice, I'll hear their voice, and I'm like, wait, I know that voice. And then I look up the cast list, and it confirms that it is the actor I thought it was. But, like, they have slightly longer hair, and I'm just like, I've never met this person in my life. I just didn't recognize my friend, man. That was how I learned that I'm bad with faces. Or, like, when I first worked, voices you'll always hear and recognize, but you can never pinpoint it. It's very specific for me. Like, there's only a few, like, voices that I can recognize. Like, there's this one Korean actor whose voice I can always pinpoint because he has this, like, raspiness to his voice every time he talks. It's just slightly raspy, just a little raspy, right? And every time I hear it, I'm like, I know who that is. But other people, I'm just like, I've never heard that voice in my life. And I'll watch anime with one of my friends, and he's always just like, we've watched 10 series with this voice actor, and I'm like, no, we haven't. And he'll pull up like the cast list and he'll prove that we have watched a bunch of series with the same voice actor, and I'm just like, I don't hear it. I don't hear it. I was watching Speak No Evil and thought one of the actresses was from You, but you're wrong. Oh. I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't finish watching You. I couldn't, like, he pissed me off. He was so annoying. And like, I know that's the point, but I've met people like him, and it was slightly triggering. Like, I couldn't finish it because he gave me the creeps, and I felt so uncomfortable every time I watched it, and I was just like, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it for me. Because I have seen the actor who does the, like, creepy guy from You, and he does a good job at it. He's, like, a good actor, but his role in that series makes me feel so uncomfortable. I had no idea the dude from Train to Busan was the same guy from Squid Games. Yeah! I know he's supposed to give you the creeps, but he gave me the creeps so bad that, like, it was just very triggering for me. I couldn't do it. I tried to watch it, and I couldn't get through it. Was he really? He's also a very good actor. The first series I ever saw him in was called Goblin. It's this Korean drama where he plays this like goblin that has been alive for hundreds of years. It does have a problematic age gap because a lot of K-dramas really like that, and the whole like eternity and fate will bring us back together type storyline. But I was so obsessed with it when I was a kid. The roles were so different, just never got through your brain. He's a really good actor. That's how you know they're good actors, when you can like see the same person doing two different roles and you just can't associate them with each other because they did such a good job at like capturing all the mannerisms and stuff of the character that they're playing. He was a Jedi in Star Wars Acolyte. Whoa, I didn't know that. I don't really watch Star Wars. I haven't watched any of the movies. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to start watching it just because I know an Acolyte, Manny Hansito, is in the movie, and I really like his acting. I love him. We fell asleep through one of them. We used to have the VHS tapes for the first 3 Star Wars movies, and I tried watching it, but I made it like 5 minutes in, and I got bored, so I just turned it off. You're straight, but he's hot in the show. In The Good Place, right? Or is Acolyte a show? I've seen them all several times. And Star Wars. Oh, I didn't know Star Wars had a show. I thought the only show that Star Wars had was The Mandalorian. Pedro Pascal is in The Mandalorian, right? I think that was like the first place I heard his name. Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal. He's the main character? Hmm. Do you guys know how to say stream in Spanish? Because I do not. Narcos. He's in Narcos. I didn't know he was in Narcos. Might piss off some Star Wars people, but you just can't get into it. Get so bored watching anything Star Wars. Wait, no. I have watched Star Wars Rogue One. I didn't know it was a Star Wars movie until like halfway through. I just went because my cousins were like, hey, do you want to watch this movie with us? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then I joined them. And it was actually pretty good, but I didn't know it was a prequel. Or that everybody... Okay, I'm not gonna say that because some people might not have watched it. But I was like, I didn't know it was a prequel. And I was so upset. Same for Diego Luna. Well, Diego Luna was in Narcos Mexico. In Narcos, Pedro works for the DEA. Oh. And Diego was in Rogue One. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to like look at the cast list again because I didn't really look up any of the actors after I watched the movie. I don't remember most of the faces anymore. Okay, one way I can like... One of the best examples of the way that I'm bad at recognizing people is there's this channel called Star Kids on YouTube, and they're also like a theater company, Star Kid Productions, right? They've released multiple original musicals at this point, and they'll release like the full film production of the musical that they're doing, right? And they have a very small theater company, so a lot of the actors will play like up to like 3, 4, 5 different people. And the very first time I watched the guy who doesn't like musicals, or who didn't like musicals, I didn't realize that it was like the same actor being like 10 different people. I was just like, wow, they have so many people. Like, I wonder how they can afford all of this. And I rewatched it recently and I was just like, wait, wasn't she just the like cafe barista person? and now she's like so and so's daughter, and now she's working at this company, and I felt flabbergasted once I realized that it was the same people. I hear TA and all I can think about is Breaking Bad. You're cooked, man. Next question. There was an interview recently with Diego Luna where Star Wars saved him because he'd only get cast as narcotraficantes. Yo, the typecast, like being able to break a typecast like that is so good. I love that for him. I feel like, oh my god, there's okay, so you guys have watched Train to Busan. You know the guy that plays the dad, like not the main character, but the guy whose wife is pregnant and he's like really big and buff and whatnot. He is like one of the sweetest people, right? And I think he's mentioned that he would like to be a romance lead in like a K-drama, but because he is like buffer and whatnot, a lot of people are like, oh no, he wouldn't be a good romance interest for like a lead character for a romance genre. And it's just like, it sucks because like he gives off very big cutie patootie energy, and I feel like he'd do a great job. I remember seeing the like bibliography? No. Film biography? What's it called? Filmography? I don't know. The list of like movies or roles that somebody has played, and it was for like this Hispanic actor. I forgot what his name was. But like 90% of the roles he was cast in were drug dealer type roles, and all of them were like called Kevin with like some Hispanic last name. And I was just like, it sucks that he's a good actor, but he just keeps getting typecasted into these roles and they're not giving him other opportunities. It sucks. Is he bald? I don't remember. Let's see. He might have been bald in that one, but he has hair. His name is Dong Suk Ma. He's in so many like gangster type movies, or like he plays a lot of roles as police officers. Hold on. There's this like one very famous photo set where he has this like Hello Kitty phone case. Will it work? Yeah, that photo shoot. He has hair. No. The main guy from Train to Busan has, I feel like he has a very versatile filmography, because he's done like a lot of romance leads, but I want to say he's done other stuff as well. I just tend to watch a lot of the romance shows. It's so funny that like I was one of the first people in my family to start watching K-dramas when I was like a lot younger. And I remember in the beginning, I tried getting some of my cousins into it, or like my sister, and they'd all be like, "Oh, but it's in a different language. I don't want to watch that." And I was like, "But the plot is so good. Give it a chance, please." And they still wouldn't. And then like one time, I forgot what was happening, but I was watching a K-drama. I was rewatching one, and then my sister was like, "Wait, this is really good," and she started watching it. And then my dad came in when we were like halfway through the series, and he was like, "Oh, I just came to tell you guys good night." And then he did that thing that dads do, where like he just stood around for a bit, arms crossed, just watching the screen. And each episode is like 45 minutes to an hour long. And eventually he like took a seat for the rest of the episode. And he's like, "Okay, I'm going to sleep." And then he like asked me what the name of the K-drama was. And now he watches so many. Like he'll recommend shows to me. And a week later he's like, "Oh yeah, I already finished it." And I'm like, "Yeah, 24 episodes and they're each an hour long. Like how the heck?" James McAvee has range. Okay, I don't recognize actors' names. Give me 1 second. McAvoy? Is it McAvoy? Oh yeah, I have seen him. What other stuff has he been in? I know him from his role in Penelope. Did a good job in Penelope. He was in Split with Multiple Personalities, X-Men, Speak No Evil, Wanted. Split? Okay, so I know I said I don't really watch scary movies, but they do intrigue me. So I used to watch like video recaps on a lot of scary movies, and based on if like I thought the recap was scary or not, then I would decide if I wanted to like actually watch the full movie. Split was one of those movies where I was like, this is just scary enough that I don't want to watch the full thing. So I never got around to watching it. I do have one friend that like every October so far will have a scary movie marathon, and he'll pick all of the movies to watch. And I made it through a lot, but a couple of them I had to keep the lights on because I got scared. I should probably show you guys my spreadsheet with the movies. Maybe I can do that. Well, we'll finish this row and then do 5 more push-ups. Was that 10 or was that 15? I think we were at 15, so I just need to do 5 more. Excuse me. I don't know what to play this week. I know I said I was gonna do like Portal Thursdays until the end of the month, but I don't think I'll be able, because I could play, I guess, the I could start the solo campaign for Portal 2, but then I'd be gone for a couple of weeks. So maybe I'll do like 2 short games. I'll try to finish up Greece. Well, no, we're playing Resident Evil today. Resident Evil 7. That we're gonna keep doing on the weekends, on Saturdays. But for Thursday and Friday, I'm not 100% sure. It's gonna be basically Resident Evil Saturdays. That's a lie. I'm playing Resident Evil on Sunday next week. Today and next Sunday. This upcoming Sunday. Not tomorrow, but the one after that. Maybe I should just pull up a calendar. But yeah, next Saturday, I have a thing I planned with a friend, so we're gonna hang out. I guess it's just gonna be Resident Evil weekends until I finish up. No! 10 sit-ups? Okay. I'll finish up this row, and then we'll do the 5 push-ups that are left, and the 10 sit-ups. Oh, I guess I could start Tattletale on Thursday. Because Unusual did redeem that one a few weeks ago. Why am I so tired? Okay, we'll do the sit-ups and the push-ups, and then we'll read chapter 6 of Little Women, and I'll end stream. I think that's a good plan because it is almost 6. Es la edad. Yeah. That, and I did go to sleep at like 2 a.m. Ah, in camera. Hey, we almost finished 10 rows. That's not too bad. We did like 8. Go back up. Don't go back up. I keep dropping my stitches, man. Okay. Wow. I feel like this yellow and green go really well together. I'm really happy that I chose these colors. Okay. We'll do the rest of our exercises. I'm gonna take off my headset, so don't redeem the applause or anything. I won't hear it anyways. But push-ups first. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sit-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's swole. I will not be getting swole anytime soon. feel like I didn't even do those properly. Chapter 6 of Little Women. The last time, in chapter 5, is this like zoomed out a lot? Oh, my stuff. Do I want it to be that zoomed out? Just a little bit more. A little bit more. That's fine. Whatever. So yeah, last time in chapter 6, we'll put the background music again. Last time in chapter 6, Lori got sick, and Jo went to visit him, and she also met Lori's grandpa. And she was just like, hey, he wasn't as scary as I thought he was gonna be. She was just like, it'd be kind of really cool if you gave Lori permission to come hang out with us because he looks really lonely, and I feel like having some more friends would help him out. And his grandpa was just like, okay, sure. And he was just like, I really liked your grandpa, kid, and I feel like you're a good kid. And she was like, yippee! And then she spoke with like her family, and they were all like, oh my god, yeah, like we could totally be friends with Lori. And that also happened in chapter 5. Let's see, chapter 6. Beth finds the palace beautiful. The big house did prove a palace beautiful, though it took some time for all to get in, and Beth found it very hard to pass the lines. Old Mr. Lawrence was the biggest one, but after he had called, said something funny or kind to each one of the girls, and talked over old times with their mother, nobody felt much afraid of him except timid Beth. The other lion was the fact that they were poor and Lori was rich, for this made them shy of accepting favors which they could not return. But after a while, they found out that he considered them the benefactors, and could not do enough to show how grateful he was for Miss March's motherly welcome, their cheerful society, and the comfort he took in the humble home of theirs. Soon they forgot their pride, and interchanged kindness without stopping to think which was the greater. All sorts of pleasant things happened about that time, for the new friendship flourished like grass in spring. Everyone liked Lori, and he privately informed his tutor that the Marches were regularly splendid girls. With the delightful enthusiasm of youth, they took the solitary boy into their midst, and made much of him, and he found something very charming in the innocent companionship of these simple-hearted girls. Never having known mother or sisters, he was quick to feel the influences they brought about him, and their busy, lively ways made him ashamed of the indolent life he led. He was tired of books, and found people so interesting now that Mr. Brooke was obliged to make very unsatisfactory reports, for Lori was always playing truant and running over to the Marches. Never mind, let him take a holiday and make it up afterwards, said the old gentleman. The good lady next door said he is studying too hard and needs young society, amusement, and exercise. I suspect she's right, and that I have been coddling the fellow as if I'd been his grandmother. Let him do as he likes, as long as he is happy. He can't get into mischief in that little nunnery over there, and Mrs. March is doing more for him than we can. What good times they had, to be sure! Such plays and tableaux, such sleigh rides and skating frolics, such pleasant evenings in the old parlor, and now and then such gay little parties at the great house. Meg could walk in the conservatory whenever she liked, and revel in the bouquets. Jo browsed over the new library voraciously, and convulsed the old gentleman with her criticisms. Amy copied pictures, and enjoyed beauty to her heart's content, and Lori played Lord of the Manor in the most delightful style. But Beth, though yearning for the grand piano, could not pluck up courage to go to the mansion of bliss, as Meg called it. She went once with Jo, but the old gentleman, not being aware of her infirmity, stared at her so hard from under his heavy eyebrows and said, "Hey!" so loud and frightened her so much her feet chattered on the floor, she told her mother, and she ran away, declaring she would never go there any more, not even for the dear piano. No persuasions or incitements could overcome her fear till the fact coming to Mr. Lawrence's ear in some mysterious way, he set about mending matters. During one of the brief calls he made, he artfully led the conversation to music, and talked about the great singers who he had seen, fine organs he had heard, and told such charming anecdotes that Beth found it impossible to stay in her distant corner, but crept nearer and nearer as if fascinated. At the back of his chair, she stood listening with her great eyes wide open and her cheeks red with the excitement of this unusual performance. Taking no notice of her than as if she'd been a fly, Mr. Lawrence talked on about Laurie's lessons and teachers, and presently, as if the idea had just occurred to him, he said to Mrs. March, "The boy neglects his music now, and I'm glad of it, for he was getting too fond of it, but the piano suffers for want of use. Wouldn't some of your girls like to run over and practice on it now and then, just to keep it in tune, you know, ma'am?" Beth took a step forward and pressed her hands tightly together to keep from clamping them, for this was an irresistible temptation, and the thought of practicing on that splendid instrument took her breath away. Before Mrs. March could reply, Mr. Lawrence went on with an odd little nod and smile. "They needn't see or speak to anyone, but run in at any time, for I'm shut up in my study at the other end of the house. Laurie's out a great deal, and the servants are never near the drawing room after 9 o'clock. Here he rose, as if going, and Beth made her mind to speak, for the last arrangement left nothing to be desired. "Please tell the young ladies what I say, and if they do not care to come, why, never mind." Here a little hand slipped into his, and Beth looked up at him with a face full of gratitude, as she said in her earnest yet timid way, "Oh, sir, they do care, very, very much." "Are you the musical girl?" he asked, without any startling hey, as he looked down at her very kindly. "I'm Beth. I love it dearly, and I'll come if you're quite sure nobody will hear me or be disturbed," she added, fearing to be rude, and trembling in her own boldness as she spoke. "Not a soul, my dear. The house is empty half the day, so come and drum away as much as you'd like. I shall be obliged to you." "How kind you are, sir." Beth blushed like a rose under the friendly look he wore, but she was not frightened now, and gave the big hand a grateful squeeze because she had no words to thank him for the precious gift he had given her. The old gentleman softly stroked the hair of her forehead, and stooping down, he kissed her, saying in a tone few people ever heard, "I had a little girl once, with eyes like these. God bless you, my dear. Good day, ma'am." And away he went in a great hurry. Beth had a rapture with her mother, and then rushed upwards to impart the glorious news to her family of invalids, as the girls were not at home. How blithely she sung that evening, and how they all laughed at her because she woke Amy in the night by playing the piano on her face in her sleep. Next day, having seen both the old and young gentlemen out of the house, Beth, after 2 or 3 retreats, fairly got into the side door and made her way as noiselessly as a mouse to the drawing room where her idol stood. Quite by accident, of course, some pretty easy music lay on the piano, and, with trembling fingers and frequent stops to listen and look around, Beth at last touched the great instrument and straightway forgot her fear, herself, and everything else but unspeakable delight with the music gave her, for it was like the voice of a beloved friend. She stayed till Hannah came to take her home to dinner, but she had no appetite, and could only sit and smile upon everyone in the general state of beatitude. Beatitude? Beatitude? What does that mean? I'll look it up later. After that, the little brown hood slipped through the hedge nearly every day, and the great drawing room was haunted by a tuneful spirit that came and went unseen. She never heard that Mr. Lawrence often opened his study door to hear the old-fashioned airs he liked. She never saw Laurie mount guard in the hallway to warn servants away. She never suspected that the exercise books and new songs which she found in the rack were put there for her especial benefit, and when he talked to her about music at home, she only thought how kind he was to tell things that helped her so much. So she enjoyed herself heartily, and found, which wasn't always the case, that her granted wish was all that she had hoped. Perhaps it was because she was so grateful for this blessing that a greater was given her. At any rate, she deserved both. "Mother, I'm going to work Mr. Lawrence a pair of slippers. He is so kind to me, I must thank him, and I don't know of any other way. Can I do it?" asked Beth a few weeks after this eventful call of his. "Yes, dear, it'll please him very much, and be a nice way of thanking him. The girls will help you about them, and I will pay for the making up, said Mrs. March, who took peculiar pleasure in granting Beth's request because she so seldom asked anything for herself. After many serious discussions with Meg and Joe, the pattern was chosen, the materials bought, and the slippers begun. A cluster of grave yet cheerful pansies on a deeper purple ground was pronounced very appropriate and pretty, and Beth worked away early and late, with occasional lifts over hard parts. She was a nimble little needlewoman, and they were finished before anyone got tired of them. Then she wrote a very short, simple note, and, with Laurie's help, got them smuggled onto the study table one morning before the old gentleman was up. When this excitement was over, Beth waited to see what would happen. All that day passed, and a part of the next, before any acknowledgement arrived, and she was beginning to fear that she had offended her crotchety friend. On the afternoon of the second day, she went out to do an errand, and gave poor Joanna, the invalid doll, her daily exercise. She came up to the street on her return. She saw 4 heads popping in and out of the parlor windows, and the moment they saw her, several hands were waved, and several joyful voices screamed, Here's a letter from the old gentleman. Come quick and read it. Oh, Beth, he sent you, began Amy, gesticulating with unseemly energy, but she got no further, for Joe quenched her by slamming down the window. I wonder what she got. Beth hurried on in a twitter of suspense. At the door, her sister seized and bore her to the parlor in a triumphal procession, all pointing and all saying at once, Look there, look there. Beth did look, and turned pale with delight and surprise, for there stood a little cabinet piano with a letter lying on the glossy lid, directed like a signboard. To Miss Elizabeth March. For me, gasped Beth, holding on to Joe and feeling as if she would tumble down. It was such an overwhelming thing altogether. Yes, all for you, my precious. Isn't it splendid of him? Don't you think he's the dearest old man in the world? Here's the key in the letter. We didn't open it, but we're dying to know what he says, cried Joe, hugging her sister and offering the note. You can read it. I can't. I feel so queer. Oh, it's too lovely. And Beth hid her face in Joe's apron, quite upset by her present. Joe opened the paper and began to laugh, for the first words she saw were, Miss March. Dear Madam. How nice it sounds. I wish someone were to write me so, said Amy, who thought the old-fashioned address was very elegant. I have had many pairs of slippers in my life, but I've never had any that suited me so well as yours, continued Joe. Heart's ease is my favorite flower, and these will always remind me of the gentle giver. I'd like to pay my debts, so I know you will allow the old gentleman to send you something which once belonged to the little granddaughter he lost. With hearty thanks and best wishes I remain, your grateful friend and humble servant, James Lawrence. They gave her a piano. There, Beth. That's an honor to be proud of, I'm sure. Laurie told me how fond Mr. Lawrence used to be of the child who died, and how he kept all her things carefully. Just think, he's given you her piano. That comes of having blue eyes and loving music, said Joe, trying to soothe Beth, who trembled and looked more excited than she had ever been before. See the cunning brackets to hold candles, and the nice green silk puckered up with the gold rose in the middle, and the pretty rack and stool all complete, added Meg, opening the instrument and displaying its beauties. Your humble servant, James Lawrence. Only think of his writing that to you. I'll tell all the girls. They'll think it's killing, said Amy, much impressed by the note. Try it, honey. Let's hear the sound of the baby piano, said Hannah, who always took a share in the family's joys and sorrows. So Beth tried it, and everyone pronounced it the most remarkable piano ever heard. It had evidently been newly tuned and put in an apple pie order, but perfect as it was, I think the real charm of it lay in the happiest of all the happy faces which leaned over it, as Beth lovingly touched the beautiful black and white keys, and pressed the shiny pedals. You'll have to go and thank him, said Joe, by the way of a joke, for the idea of the child's really going never entered her head. Yes, I mean to. I guess I'll go now, before I get frightened thinking about it. And to the utter amazement of the assembled family, Beth walked deliberately down the garden, through the hedge, and in the Lawrence's door. Well, I wish I may die. If it ain't the queerest thing I'll ever see. The peony has turned her head. She'd never have gotten in her right mind, cried Hannah, staring after her while the girls were rendered quite speechless by the miracle. They would have all been more amazed if they had seen what Beth did afterward. If you will believe me, she went and knocked at the study door before she gave herself time to think, and when a gruff voice called out, "Come in," she did go in, right up to Mr. Lawrence, who looked quite taken aback, and held out her hand, saying, with only a small quaver in her voice, "I came to thank you, sir, for—" But she didn't finish, for he looked so friendly that she forgot her speech, and only remembering that he had lost the little girl he loved, she put both arms round his neck and kissed him. If the roof of the house had suddenly flown off, the old gentleman wouldn't have been more astonished, but he liked it, oh dear yes, he liked it amazingly, and was so touched and pleased by the confiding little kiss that all his crustiness vanished, and he just set her on his knee, and laid his wrinkled cheek against her rosy one, feeling as if he had his own little granddaughter back again. Beth ceased to fear him from that moment, and sat there talking to him as cozily as if she had known him all her life, for love cast out fear, and gratitude can conquer pride. When she went home, he walked her to her own gate, shook hands cordially, and touched his hat as he marched back again, looking very stately and erect, like a handsome, soldierly old gentleman as he was. When the girls saw that performance, Jo began to dance a jig, by the way of expressing her satisfaction. Amy nearly fell out the window in her surprise, and Meg explained with uplifted hands, "Well, I do believe this world is coming to an end." And that's it. Hello, Simon. Oh. I took a sip. I love Beth. She is so good. She's like one of my favorite characters in this book. I forgot that Mr. Lawrence's granddaughter had died, so that was a bit of a surprise. I think the first time I read this book was like 15 years ago. It's been a minute, but I love it still so much. Again, it's a very old book, so some of the vocabulary used in it is kind of outdated, but I still really like it very much. Anyways, I will be ending stream now. I finished that chapter actually a lot faster than I thought I would. But that'll give me some time to finish making our stars. Let me see who all is on, and then we'll raid out. Let's see. Twitch. Let me see. I think do you guys have any suggestions for who to raid? Let's... Let's raid Noodle Bomb. I feel like we usually don't stream around the same time, so I don't know if I'll be able to raid him again anytime soon. So let's do that. Here is the raid message for our followers, and here's the raid message for our subs. Okay, thank you guys for dropping by again. I will be starting stream again in like a little over an hour. We're gonna finish, or try to finish playing Resident Evil 7. I probably won't finish it, but I'll try my best. Again, thank you guys for dropping by, for lurking, for chatting. I hope you guys have a good rest of your morning, day, evening, or afternoon. Get some food, get some water if you haven't had any. Remember to drink some water, take your meds if you have any, wear your seatbelts, wear your sunscreen, and most importantly, be safe. I will catch you guys next time. Bye-bye!